Student loans can cripple you financially. Paying them off is essential.
Stop making monthly payments and do this instead. Over 40 million Americans owe a combined $1.77 trillion in student debt. And with today's economy, a lot of people are struggling to pay them back. Most people stick to the normal schedule of just paying once a month, but that costs you thousands in extra interest. But if you switch to biweekly payments, this one small change will save you years on your loan and also keep thousands in your pocket. Let me show you how this works. One of my students, he has about $40,000 in student loans and he's paying 7% interest. His monthly payment is $310. So what we're going to do, we're going to switch it to $155 every 2 weeks. And just by making that one small change, it's saving him over $6,000 and cutting his loan down by 3 years.
This is 100% true. Paying it off in bits and pieces, in the minimum payments, can be crazy for the amount of interest that you would end up paying. You would pay the max amount of interest that you would get there. If it's 7%, you'll be surprised how much you actually pay in the end, dollar-wise. However, even a small amount, even an extra $10 towards principal, even an extra $20 towards principal can go a long way. Now, if you're making 2 payments a month rather than making 1 payment a month, you're saving a heck of a lot, as you just saw. So for sure, pay a little bit more towards the principal, whether it's $10, whether it's a whole nother payment. You should be paying a little bit more to minimize the interest that you're paying.
I've accepted that I'm never gonna own a home, so my credit don't matter anymore. So new business idea. I will take on all of your debt for, you got to pay me like a fourth of it in cash. So if you're 20 bands in debt, give me 5 and I'll take it. I'll take all your debt. My credit score could be 7. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna own anything. So, but if I take on, like let's say some doctors want to get their debt off of them, like the 200,000, just give me 50. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. New business idea. Tell me what you think, Shark.
I don't think that's a good idea at all, right? I could understand, like, if you had a lot of money and you were going to take on someone's debt, you could basically say, I'm going to take on your 100,000 because I'm just going to pay off your loan, and then I'll provide you with this new loan. Instead of being at 7%, it could be at 4%, right? You could find a way to do that, and then you would have to go through the trust system to make sure that they end up paying you. But the issue is that you could essentially end up paying off their debt, and now there's no obligation to paying you off. So that could be a little bit of an issue. But yeah, I hope that was a complete joke. I'm pretty sure it was, just because he's like, I'll destroy my credit if you just pay me. I will take on your credit card debt, which is not possible. You're not going to be able to do that. So it's just hilarious, I guess.
So as it turns out, the student loans that I've been paying $1,500 a month for 2 years have a 17% interest rate. So what I thought I've been paying off for all this time, I'm actually, I owe more than what I started off with. What the fuck? So, Jeff Bezos, this would be a really cool fucking time to Venmo me, bro. I owe $90,000 and I didn't even spend that much on school. Any rich person, please tap in. Kourtney Kardashian, you probably have 8 houses. I'm never gonna be able to buy one because I went to college. I just signed up to be an egg donor. Guess what? Got approved. Who wants my fucking kids? I can't afford them, so start a bidding more. Just fucking take them. What do you want? My left arm too? What the fuck am I supposed to do?
Unfortunately, a lot of people feel this same way. It honestly hurts my heart to see that. And if I could pay off student loans, obviously I would love to do it. I wish the government would figure this out. Not necessarily just pay off everybody's student loans, but get the college tuition rates under control, because it's just insane with the amount that these college tuitions go up, and all of these different amenities, all these different things that they offer. Sometimes that's the reason why they go up, or the things that they want to pay for, the football programs and all that stuff. The money that they make from there, they don't necessarily need to have that much, right? But again, not going to get into all of that stuff. There are a lot of people that are going through this same mindset where it's I don't know what to do. I've seen people that are in this where they're paying just the interest and they're trying to escape by paying the interest every single month, and they know that they're going to pay for the rest of their lives, right? They're not trying to make any effort towards paying the principal because the interest is just too high. And that's why education is very, very important. If you are not going to have this financial literacy, if you're not going to understand the opposite side of getting a loan right out of high school, you need to have that education. And I know that some colleges are starting to do that, but it should have already been a thing. It should be already mandatory as you go through high school, not necessarily learning it after the fact. You want to learn it while you're in high school to know what to prepare for. To say, if I'm going to Princeton, this is how much I'm going to pay to go to Princeton, right? And it can be expensive, insanely expensive. I've seen people upwards of $500,000 in student loan debt, and they're literally just paying the interest and hoping that, they get it forgiven in a way. So it's tough. It's tough to deal with. I don't know how to get you through that situation fully. I know that working as hard as possible to be able to pay off that principal is what you can do, but you'll be working as hard as you possibly can for decades to pay off interest rate that's that high. So educate yourself before you decide to get into these student loans, especially ones that are personal loans to do that, right? Those can be insanely high rather than having the ones that could be just from the government, right? They're, 7%, which is still high, but it's not 17 or 20 or 25%. So educate yourself.
Paying off your student loan just isn't worth it. So don't do it. I recently paid off my student loan, but I'm going to tell you exactly why I regret it. I've been chipping away at my student loan for years. And then one day it just dawned on me, just get it done. You know what? Just get it done. Just pay the thing off. You have the money. Free yourself of debt little by little. And for reference, it wasn't that big. It wasn't that much. It wasn't that little. It was just under $8,000. So a little chunk came out of my bank account. I did this on a Wednesday, so I'm like hyped. I got rid of this debt. They send me the payment confirmation. And so for the rest of the week, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Nelnet to say something, to do something. I wasn't expecting edible arrangements. I wasn't expecting anything crazy. I wasn't expecting some gift card in the mail, but I wanted some email that said congrats, you did it. Good job, Ashley. Maybe some balloons, maybe some art, a gift, something. So the rest of the week goes by, the weekend goes by, and then finally I sign into my account and it just says status paid in full, just like that. Nothing. The only person that was excited was me. You greedy mother. You mean to tell me we've been in this relationship of repayment for years and you couldn't even say bye? All I'm saying is if your love language is words of affirmation or you have a praise kink, don't expect Nelnet, Sally Mae, don't expect them to say good job when you pay off your student loan. I'm just warning.
So this is kind of funny. It's not saying that you shouldn't pay it off. It's just more or less going into whether you get a congratulations or a pat on the back. As an adult, you really don't get that. And it kind of prepares you, honestly, because, I guess it doesn't prepare you because paying off your student loans can take years after you've already been into your field of work, in your field of study. I feel like it tells you exactly what life is. Nobody's giving you these pats on the back. Nobody's telling you that that you've done a great job. They're just continue to move on, and now you start the next part of your life. You can be excited about it for a brief moment, and then you start to realize that $8,000 came out of your account and you could have used that from different places or two different places. It's kind of like paying taxes, where you pay taxes and you're congratulations on making so much money. Here, pay us more money. And now you're okay, I got to give you more money. And then when that money is removed from your bank account, it doesn't feel great, right? It feels great that you made money, but it doesn't feel great that you have to give more money to the government, right? So it's definitely something that I think is not a normal feeling, but then again, you can apply it to many situations, whether you go and buy a new shirt and that shirt was $100. It's like you start second guessing and it's like, maybe I shouldn't have bought it. I don't get a congratulations. Nobody's telling me that my shirt looks great, right? You're looking for kind of those words of affirmation, and you're not going to get them.
I just checked my student loans because I needed to get the information to someone, and I started with $80,000. I have been paying for 10 years. Last year, I paid $6,000 lump sum because that's really the only way to get it low. That took it down to $76,000 after I've been paying for 9 years. The grand total is I have paid $120,000 and I still owe $76,000. I think I might be.
See, that's what people go through. I tried to tell you this, right? You look at the interest rates. If you are not educated in those interest rates, if you're not educated in exactly how much is going towards interest versus principal and going through your loan information, you're going to be paying for years and your entire life without even paying off the entire loan, right? To know that you're paying directly towards interest and that's it. That's not what you want to see. You want to make sure that you have the lowest interest rate. You want to make sure that you're paying the most towards principal that you can and not just settling for the minimum amount. It's the same thing with credit cards. It's the same thing with personal loans. It's the same thing with everything that involves interest rates. You want to make sure that you are getting the most out of what you are doing. And the best case scenario would be that you pay off the entire amount right away, or try and reconsolidate or try and put this in another place that has a lower interest rate, something that just benefits you in the end, especially if you're doing more lump sum situations. You could technically just, refinance that and, kind of put it into another place that doesn't have an over 10%, 20% interest rate. So that's the thing that people deal with, is the fact that you've been paying for 9 years. You paid $100,000 or whatever, and you still owe $70,000 left. It's like you're going to pay for another 9 years and another $20,000 is going to come off. You're going to pay for another 9 years and another $20,000 is going to come off. But you're still going to be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to pay off the total amount. You got to get it together. You got to understand that before you get into this. Before you decide to marry yourself into this loan, you have to understand it. You do. 100%.
Today, I'm trying something new. This is my last-ditch effort. I am drowning in student debt. I have over $75,000 in student debt, and I'm not even done with school. Please stay to the end of this video, because it would help me tremendously. So here's what I'm doing. I saw this girl who paid off all of her student loans, all of her debt, all from filming TikTok videos. How crazy is that? I decided, why not give it a try? So all I need to do is post at least 1 minute long videos. Those qualify for like a paycheck. This is episode 1 of trying to pay off my student loans. It would help a lot if you liked, comment, or shared this video. That would boost this video out to different FYPs. I'm hoping I can start paying off my student loans soon. Other than that, if there's...
I mean, at least she's not asking, anybody else to pay off her student loans. Like, it's based on her actions of creating something and working to pay off those loans. I don't know where she's at now. It would be great to know how much she's paid off and what this looks like. Maybe I can go into the playlist and look at that for a second. But I think it's great, right? To work harder or to find another avenue to pay off your student loans is where it's at. Not just doing it based on your regular job, but maybe having a side hustle where that specific side hustle only goes to your student loans. It could be something that benefits you in the long run. So let's check the playlist. Let's see where she's at to see if she has part. So it looks like there's only part 5. I don't know when that was created.
Watch to the end of this video so I can pay for nursing school through TikTok. This video just has to be 1 minute long. Comment, like, and share this video, and follow me. You don't have to, but I would really appreciate it because it would help me a lot. In this video, I'm gonna go over an OOTD for my clinical uniform. For my school, they are very strict on how they do things.
So it looks like she's not going through numbers or anything like that. And the last post was August 18th. And I don't know if it's August 18th from this year. I would imagine it is. So it doesn't look like she's doing it every day. It doesn't look like she's putting in the effort to continue to upload the videos to actually work to get that paid off. Or was she looking for that one video to really do that for her? Now, no hate towards her or anything or what she's doing, but I think the effort that you can make in anything, find a side hustle, whether you're making videos, whether you're mowing lawns or whatever you're doing, find a side hustle that can help you pay off those student loans. And if you're willing to work, you can pay off those student loans a lot sooner. However, if you understood, kind of what you're getting into and then finding a method to pay them off afterwards with maybe your field of study would be 10 times more beneficial. And then you can also add the side hustles on top of it to pay off a little bit more, right? So, food for thought.
Why I'm not paying off my student loans as an MBA grad making $200K a year. I'll pay them off eventually, but here's why I'm not in a rush to do it. Let's say I took out a $100K loan and that I have 10 years to pay it back at a 6% interest rate. Let's also say that I have $100K sitting in my bank right now that I can use to pay back my loans, if only. The simple thing to do would be to take that $100K and pay off my loans, right? Think again. If I take my $100K to pay off the loan, I'm debt free, but I also now have $0. If I invest my $100K, I'll make $160K in 10 years from compounding returns. Over the same time period, I need to pay back $135K on my loan principal and interest. Let's do the math. 160 minus 135 equals $25,000 that I made from not paying off my student loans immediately. Vivian from Your Rich BFF posted a video the other day about how we need to change the narrative on debt, because when rich people have debt, it's called leverage, and we celebrate them. So if you have student loans, you're not in debt, you're just levered.
So I agree with this, and to an extent. I think there are definitely varying factors to it, where if you have a higher interest rate and you're collecting interest by the day, pretty much, you don't want that you can't make or make up that amount over that time. You can't, right? If you have a 20% interest rate, you're not going to make that much in the markets. It's not going to happen. If you have a 10% interest rate, it's very borderline that you will be able to make the same amount that you would end up paying in interest, right? So it really does depend. And also, I would say if your interest rate is over 5%, then you don't have this ability, because there is a chance that whatever you put it into, yes, the S&P 500 does track at an average of 10%, 8 to 10%, right? But if you have down years where it's 5%, and well, now you're kind of breaking even on that and you could have paid it off sooner. Also, you can look at it like this, right? If you are making money consistently from your field of study and you have money in the bank to pay off your entire loan, you can now take what you would have paid for your student loans and invest it and continue to invest it, continue to have compound interest. Yes, on $100,000, being able to have compound interest on that would be phenomenal. But for a lot of people, they don't understand what to invest it into, where to invest it, and there's a lot more that goes into it. So for the average person that just sees the student loans and just wants to get debt free, I say you make it as simple as possible and just pay off the debt before you even get into the thought of trying to understand how to invest. Because if you don't understand it, you can't put it into a place. You're going to put it into the S&P 500, which will track and you can be able to gain a lot throughout time. However, with the interest rates now and where they stand, right, that's where you have a little bit of a problem. It may be 7%, it may be 10 or 17 or 20%, depending on where it is and who you are and what you had to go through in order to get that loan. So make sure that I would say that if you are not educated in investing, pay off your debt. It makes you feel a lot better. It makes you feel freer. And then now you can get started in understanding investing with your $300 or $1,000 that you have that you would have paid towards your student loans to now go into your savings and your investing.
I remember paying off my 36 grand in student loans, and I was Ubering, I was lifting, I was living on lean cuisines, Jay, and I got lean. I'll tell you, I was lean, and I was doing everything I could to get rid of that debt as fast as possible, and it was so freeing to not have to wait on someone else to do it for me. And so make a plan, get on a budget, do what it takes, come celebrate with us when you're debt free, and we'll celebrate the fact that you're not waiting on no man, no woman, no politician to change your life.
It's all
you
on
are the
you.
secret sauce, America.
Yeah, it's so difficult to even take those steps to budget and cut costs and cut what you're normally into, whether you eat fast food or DoorDash or you decide to cut the vacations or whatever. It's very difficult to budget because then you have to limit yourself and say, I can't get this. Even though you have the money for it, you have to pretend like you really don't, because that money needs to go towards your student loans to pay it off earlier. So I know how that can be difficult, but it is true. It does free you up when you have no debt, or you have no car loans, or you have no student loans or credit card debt, whatever. So try and pay it off as soon as you can, but I don't think there's any rush to where you have to take every cent that you own and put it towards student loans. You need a rainy day fund, but if that rainy day fund gets too large, put it towards a place where you can feel a little bit freer. So in conclusion, when we look at student debt, there's a lot of varying factors to it, to where you could be paying interest for the rest of your life and never end up paying off the principal. You could potentially have a lower interest rate and pay it down pretty easily with your field of study. You can also work a little bit harder and mow lawns or create TikTok videos or find some sort of side hustle that can pay off your student loans or pay off more of your principal than what you're already paying. And also looking at the investing side of it, if you are educated on the investing side of things and you have a low interest rate, then yeah, you don't really have to pay off or have any type of rush to paying off your student loans. My student loans were 3%. I make more money in the markets than if I pay off my student loan. So I just let it live its life and pay the interest because I'm making a difference of $100,000 at this point. Something like that. I don't know exactly what it is. It's a decent amount because the amount that I'm making in the market is a lot more, especially for my long-term positions. So what I want to tell you is that everybody's scenario, everybody's situation is different. If you're crippling from this student loan debt, you need to find a way out. We are meant to find a way out. But if you are new to the student loan debt situation, like you are just about to leave high school and you're about to go off to college, you better understand what you're getting into financially, because it can absolutely ruin your life for years to come. It can ruin relationships. It can ruin marriages. Like it's tough. So you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to find a way out. But guys, if you like this content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.